In this video, I'm going to show you the most commonly asked Applebee's interview questions and help you plan brilliant answers to these that will get you hired at Applebee's. So let's start with an extremely important question, which is, when are you able to work at Applebee's? And they're going to be very interested in knowing your availability and matching your availability to their needs. And if you're not meeting their needs, it's going to make it much harder for you to get a job. So let's look at what you're going to say in the interviews. The first thing you want to say is that you've got a can-do attitude, and you're going to show that by saying yes to as many of the different times as possible. The next thing you want to show is that you actually have an open mind, because that's what they're looking for. If they suggest various times and you're very close and you say you don't want to work those times, you don't want to work those times, then it comes across very negative and you're basically causing them problems. You want to be offering the times that they're looking for, because if you don't match their needs, they are unlikely to hire you. The next thing you want to do is show off as much flexibility as you can, and ultimately you want to show that you take your job seriously. The people who don't do well on this question immediately list all the times that they can't work and then say they can work other times. You're basically giving them a list of reasons why they shouldn't hire you. You want to focus on saying all the times that you can do and not talking at length about the times that you prefer not to work as often. The other thing you can do is say things that they actually like to hear. So they like to hear things like, I can work the entire range of Applebee's opening hours. So that's really the perfect answer. So you can take shifts at any time potentially, and you can make your job a very important part of your life. You could say that you can pick up extra shifts or overtime if needed. They may never need you to do that, but it's just a positive thing to say in the interview. You can say things like, I can help out when needed, when you need extra staffing, and that's part of taking on extra shifts. And of course, you'll be paid more to do that. You can say that you can work around the business's needs and that you're open to working a range of different times, such as weekends and evenings. And remember that if they ask about a certain time, they are asking for a reason. So if they ask, what about Thursday afternoon? And you say no, it's probably because they're thinking that Thursday afternoon is a time that they actually want people to be available to work. So if you say no to any time that they ask about, that's your choice, but understand that it may harm your chance of getting the job. The next thing you need to prepare for is the question around, what can you tell me about Applebee's? And if you turn up to an interview at any company and don't know anything about the business, it looks very negative. So I'm going to show you how you can prepare a brilliant answer to this question. And to help you be really well prepared for this question and your interview, I'm going to present you with lots of facts that you can take to your interview to show that you've done lots of great preparation. And the way that you approach this question is you start with the obvious information. You show them that you know the basics of the business. Then you show them that you've actually done some decent research. And then to really help you get the job, you want to impress them with a few facts that only people that have really looked into the business would actually know. So let's look at the facts that you can take to your interview. The first thing is, describe them as a neighborhood restaurant. That is how they were originally founded, and that is how they think of themselves. They are a casual dining chain, so that is another way of describing the company. They have an American-led menu focusing on typical bar food, so that's really what they do. Their full title is Applebee's Neighborhood Grill and Bar, and that describes exactly the sort of thing that they're providing. They are famous for their cocktails, and that's a big part of their offer. And one of their most famous offers is the Dollarita, that was a $1 cocktail and really helped relaunch and get the business growing again and put the business on much, much stronger position, and really is one famous thing that people remember about Applebee's. They were originally founded by Bill and TJ Palmer all the way back in 1980, and they were founded in the state of Georgia. Is an interesting story about the original name. They wanted to call it Applebee because they were looking at a phone book and they really liked the name Applebee. However, that name was already registered, so they changed the spelling to Applebee and then put an S on the end, and that's where the original name come from. It's just taken from the phone book but changed slightly. You can also refer to their happy hour, which is a really great promotion that really gets people in and gets people excited about Applebee's offering great value. And they are majority franchises, so you're probably going to be applying to a franchise, so that'll have someone that owns that location rather than applying to Applebee's itself. And you want to know whether you're applying to the franchise or whether you're applying to a corporate-owned store. They have expanded internationally, so it's just not in the US anymore. It has expanded to other countries, and it's useful to know where it has expanded. Another top tip is make sure you learn Applebee's menu before you go to the interview, because they may ask you about the menu and they do ask some questions that relate to it, and it's just good to have that knowledge and that confidence. The next one that I would recommend that you prepare for is how would you deal with a difficult customer? And really, what you have to remember is that this question is actually testing your values. They want to see that you have the right values and that your values match with Applebee's values. So let's look at what you actually say to show this. The first thing you say, and you make it very clear, is that you provide great service to all customers. The fact that they're difficult doesn't mean that you'll lower your standards, and you will consistently provide great service to everyone. The next thing you say is if the customer is angry or upset, and that something has gone wrong and that's why they're difficult, what you will do is you'll actively listen and you'll emphasize with any of the guests' problems and you'll work hard to fix those and make sure everyone has a great experience. The next thing you say is that you are always friendly, that you're calm at all times, and you're always professional. So when you're confronted with a difficult customer, you don't lose your cool, you stay calm, and you represent the Applebee's brand very positively. The next thing you can always mention is that you've got a good track record of forming positive relationships with regular customers, and that really helps with managing all of the customers and making sure everyone has a great time, especially if you've got previous experience working in a restaurant, saying that you've formed positive relationships and you get to know regular customers, and that really helps provide a great experience to everyone. That's a really good way of showing off your experience at the same time as answering this question. Then you say that you're always sincere and that you're always genuine and that you genuinely care that everyone has a great time, and that includes difficult customers. The other thing that's a good idea just for your preparation is to have an example of success ready with a difficult customer. So, say for example, you've dealt with a customer that was very difficult, they had some complaints, they were being hard and difficult to deal with, but you were able to fix their problem and then they left very happy and you turned that situation around. That's a good thing to drop in there and give them an example of when you did it to show off your experience and show you're a great hire. And that's how you answer this question. The next question you want to be prepared for is sometimes they ask, what is your favorite Applebee's item or meal? So you should always have an answer ready for this. So I just look at the menu and pick something and talk about that. I would recommend that you choose something that's either exclusive to Applebee's or that is a kind of classic and a thing that people come to Applebee's for, things like the Dollarita, or you may want to talk about the riblets, which are really a staple of the Applebee's menu. Then you want to think about what do you enjoy about it? Why do you really, really like it? And just say one or two things about that. Think about the last time you ate it. Talk about that in a really enthusiastic and passionate way. And what you want to do is be really positive. You want your eyes to light up and make a big deal out of it. They want to hire people that actually like what they're selling, because if you love their food and you're selling it, it's going to match up so much better. So that's one thing that they like to see in answer to this question. And so that's really how you ace it. Just have something ready and be really passionate and really enthusiastic talking about it, and you'll do great on that question. The next one is, why do you want to work at Applebee's? That's an important one to have ready. I can't tell you why you want to work at Applebee's, but what I can do is I can suggest various things and you can pick 3 or 4 of these and talk about them. So one thing you might want to say is that you love working in restaurants. If you've done it before, talk really positively about having worked in restaurants and that's somewhere you really like working. You could say something like, I believe I'm an excellent server or chef or whatever role you're going for, and say that you enjoy it. So say that you're good at that job and you enjoy doing that job. So you're applying to basically do something that you're good at, and that's going to make you like your job. The next thing you could say is that you are recommended by an employee. So you know someone who works at Applebee's. You do not need to name that person, but you can say that you've spoken to people who work there and you know people, you have friends that work at different Applebee's locations and they've talked very positively about their experiences. Don't share anything negative, focus only on the positives. You could say that you've got lots of food service experience and bring in your previous experiences, saying that it's really just this job is a continuation of your career and that it's what you're good at. You could say that you're looking forward to gaining new skills or getting some great training. You've heard really positive things about the training that Applebee's provides, particularly if you're new in your career. That's something you could talk about. You could say that you love to have a fast-paced, busy job and that restaurant work really matches with that, that you're someone that is good at working with people and so you like a job that's got lots of interaction. You could say that you enjoy meeting new people every day. So when new customers come in, you're really excited to meet them and that's one of the reasons you want to work here. You've had great experience as a customer. Have you ate at Applebee's before? Do you really like their food? Is the menu something that you really love? And talk really positively about it. And you could say, if you've got previous experience in customer service or in restaurants, that this is a perfect match for my skills and experience. And that's how you can link you being great at the job and having good experience to actually why you want to work there. You're showing off your skills and experience at the same time. So I'd pick 3 or 4 of these. Feel free to pause it, choose a couple that you're going to talk about, and then you're ready for this question. The next one you need to be ready for is, can you tell me about what previous experience you have? Now, the key thing for success in this question is to think about what they want to hear and tell them what they want to hear and show that you can actually do the job. Fundamentally, they want to hear a few things. They want to see that you can actually do the job and that you've got some experience that is relevant. They want to see that there's nothing worrying. They may ask about your career history, and they're really looking to see if there's anything that should cause them some worry and basically give them an excuse not to hire you because they don't want to hire problems. And then if you've got nothing that's worrying and you've got previous experience and you can do the job effectively, you're probably the right hire. So let's look at how you actually answer it. So the first thing you do is you give your full job titles. So don't just give a short job title, give them your actual job title and explain what you actually did. So you're going to focus on your experience that is most relevant to Applebee's. So it's not a case of just going through it in order and saying, my last job was this, my job before this, and my job before that one was this one. That's not how you do it. You talk about your most relevant experience first, even if it was a few years ago, and then you focus on anything that is customer service and anything that is involving restaurants or food. That's the most important experience. You can bring in all your experience, but focus on those ones first. Then you've got to explain what you actually did. So don't just say that you were, for example, a server in a restaurant. You want to talk more about that. So you've got experience working as a server. You did this for so many years at this company. You dealt with customer complaints. You got excellent training. You had a brilliant mentor. You had a great manager that really helped you develop your skills. These are sort of things that you talk about. So show off your experience. Don't just say it. Actually show that you gained a lot from it and you're going to be brilliant at working at Applebee's. You may be asked why you left that job or why you're leaving your current job. So have something positive to talk about. Don't say anything negative about a previous employer and have a reason why you want to move to this. Focus on the positives of the new job, focus on the positives of Applebee's, and don't talk about anything negative about your previous jobs. Then you want to basically show them why you're a great hire. So explain why your experience is going to make you the right person to work at Applebee's. And then some tips for success is basically show that you can do the job, that you've done something similar before, you've got experience working in customer service, you've got good customer service skills, and that you've perhaps got some experience working in a restaurant. You want to be confident. So if you're talking about your experience, you want to be really confident this was great experience, and you want to show a confidence that you could do this job effectively. And you're really just saying what they want to hear. They want people that have got some basic experience, who've got some customer service skills, and are going to be an easy person to train up and get going. Then before we finish, what should you ask Applebee's after the interview? They may ask, do you have any questions? You've got to have questions ready. So let's look at some various suggestions and you could pick some questions that you may want to ask. So you could say, I'm of course very interested in the job and as such, I would like to know what the next steps in Applebee's hiring process are. You probably do want to know anyway, so you might as well ask, but show that you're really interested in the role. You might want to ask, what do you enjoy most about working for Applebee's? And when they tell you what they like about working there, share in their enthusiasm and be really positive about it. You might want to ask, can you tell me more about the team that you've built at this Applebee's location and show a real interest in learning about your colleagues? You could ask, what would you say makes a great Applebee's employee? And when they tell you what they look for in a great employee, you can link that to your previous experience and your skills. And the last thing you should do is make sure you thank them for their time in interviewing you. Big smiles, and as appropriate, handshakes or whatever the custom is there. It may still be in COVID times, you never know. And then be really positive and genuinely thank them for their time. Then make sure you don't ask about holidays, you don't ask about delaying your start date, time off, or try and negotiate your pay before you've even got a job offer. So I hope this video was helpful to you. I wish you the best of luck in your interview, and I hope you get the job. And finally, thank you very much for watching.